Hi everyone, and welcome to the Capricorn April 2022 Illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance, or more better put, to find where you fit. So welcome to everyone new and returning. If you are new, this is a reading that is meant to help you find the meaning in a challenge or challenges that you are currently experiencing so that you can better understand the why. Why am I being asked to overcome this challenge and to meet it? And what am I looking to unlock about my path and purpose and spiritual importance in doing so? So Capricorn, we're going to get started here. I'm going to pull a card or cards to represent your internal energy, what you're moving into the month of April. And I'm going to pull a card or cards now for your external environment to see what's going on around you, what you're being asked to engage your internal energy with your external environment. And then we're going to take a look at what is the lesson. What are you meant to be gaining clarity on or expanding for yourself in meeting this challenge? So I'm going to go over these cards first, and then we're going to pull some additional clarifier cards to move further into the reading. So Capricorn, you are starting with the Wheel of Fortune, moving into April. And I love this energy for you because when this energy is occurring internally instead of externally, there is this feeling of kind of shaking off the dust or getting rid of the rust, so to speak. And it's almost like things are starting to move internally again. This is when we're getting our head and our heart and our emotions, everything into alignment, and we're starting to feel kind of the catches of the cogs within ourselves. And this is beautiful because the Wheel of Fortune, once it gets turning, it keeps going. This is generally not a fast-moving energy. It's an energy of stating that things are turning in your favor. Things are moving. This card is the number 10 in the tarot. It really denotes kind of the start of a new cycle. And there's this feeling of internally you guys are embracing that feeling. Internally, you're kind of getting things moving again. You're getting prepared. That's really the feeling I get coming through here. Because in your external environment, you have the moon. And the moon really speaks to a lack of clarity. It speaks to kind of the unknown. And there's this feeling I think that you guys are connecting with in this almost like there's a void of, okay, I'm getting things going within myself. I have a little bit more clarity because things are starting to connect within myself, but the way forward is unclear. And that can be a hard energy to work with when we feel like we're starting to move and kind of get clear on things, but everything around us seems unsure. And why you're being asked to kind of embrace the lack of clarity right now is because ultimately you're learning a lesson about aligning your head and heart to move towards what this can represent is our ultimate destination, the place that feels like home for us. So this is getting yourself in alignment to kind of get in your chariot and start the movement again on your path. So that's really what a strong feeling I'm getting here. It's kind of like you're prepared. You're getting yourself ready. It's almost like you're kind of checking all the wiring and the lubricating everything and getting everything ready to start the move. But I do think that for some of you, there is kind of this lack of clarity perhaps as to what does feel like home for you. What is this journey going to look like? It can be a little scary when we think about having to go on a journey, having to get parts of ourself, our head, what our head wants and what our heart wants. So getting our thoughts in alignment with our emotional needs. And that sometimes that means we might have to go on quite a bit of a journey. And that journey might change a lot of the things in our external environment, which is why this way is unclear. But the lesson being learned here right now is that there's a refocus. And it's interesting, Capricorn, I feel like there's been a lot of themes in your most recent readings around second chances We're kind of revisiting something and getting a chance to do it again, but more in alignment with yourself. And that's strongly coming through here. The lesson here is becoming clear on you wanting to get kind of in the driver's seat again. That we all have that place that feels like home for us, the kind of distant idea of what we want for ourselves. But ultimately, we're the ones that drive our chariot. There can be two horses pulling something, but unless there's somebody there to push them forward and direct them, that's just any other chariot. It's not your chariot. So there's a little bit coming through here of being reminded that you're the one that drives the car forward, the vehicle forward. It's not the other way around. And even with a lack of clarity, your internal clarity is what allows, it's almost like there's a remembering of an internal GPS that will get you through the lack of external clarity. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to pull some cards here to really take a deeper dive into what the challenge is between you starting to get yourself in gear, so to speak, and not really wanting to actually take the forward movement needed to get into this driver's seat here. Okay, so we have two cards that came out and they fell on the floor, so give me just a moment here as I go under my desk. So we have the Eight of Wands and the Three of Cups. And so the Eight of Wands is in your main challenge position, and that is forward, fast movement. It can also denote quick communication. And when that's in a challenge position, this can be when we are actually not wanting to either speak something that we know is going to bring movement, or we don't want to, it's almost like we don't want to move towards something. Now, okay, so you guys are getting a lot of energy, a lot of Sagittarius energy here. I'm going to just say this right off the bat, only because the Eight of Wands sometimes can be called a card that represents Cupid's arrows. And with the Three of Cups coming up after that, there could be something around having to face either a third party situation or not, almost like wanting to deny the arrows of love. And I'll go into this a little deeper, but there's also could just be that you guys are, you know the energy is picking up and you don't want you don't want to go. It's almost like you feel it. Everything's revving up, the engine's going, and you don't want to put your foot on the gas. So let's go ahead and see. We'll pull one or two more final cards here. Two more want to come out. The World and the Star. Oh, beautiful to this. Okay, this is great here. Let me kind of situate it so hopefully everything's in the screen. All right. So again, what I was saying about Eight of Wands, this is a card that denotes quick movement. It's a card that also can denote communication. So it could be one of two things, that you don't want to kind of jump into the movement of the energy that's kind of quickly coming your way, or that you're trying to almost, and I get this strong vision of like trying to duck the energy coming towards you. It's like, instead of being like, woohoo, I'm going to be like this guy and I'm going to just like grab one of these wands and go flying through the sky with all of them, almost like going with the flow of everything that's lining up for you, you're instead wanting to duck and just kind of let them all go over your head. And what can happen when we do something like that, like when we kind of miss the opportunity, we miss the moment, is that we can really get stuck and then feeling like we have either one of two things. We almost get to the point where we like are spinning our wheels, where we can get into a place of anxiety because we know we should have done something and we didn't. And so internally then it's like our wheels are spinning and we're just like standing still. Or this is where we can then really get into a place where, man, things are going to feel like an uphill battle from here. It's like, you know, you were waiting for the train to arrive, and when the train pulled up, you were too scared to get on the train, and then the train took off, and now you realize, oh shoot, there's no train coming again for some time. So I either now have to walk. I can still get to my destination, but it's going to take me a lot longer. Or I need to find a new way to get over there. And again, it's almost like when we kind of miss these key moments of like, okay, now's the time, like everything is getting set up to go. You just got to let yourself go. When we miss those moments, we can, again, get stuck because we either don't want to then put in the extra legwork to get to where we need to go, or we just end up taking a lot longer. And not to say that for some of you that may be what you need, because maybe you'll see things along the way that you wouldn't have otherwise that you need to interact with. But for this specific reading, you're really being asked to kind of give into this. And when we think about kind of the arrows of Cupid kind of being shot at you, there's also this element of almost like allowing yourself to be almost like pierced by that love coming towards you. Because right after that, we have the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is an energy of actually celebrating with others on an emotional level, of being able to be surrounded by those who want to bring their emotional happiness to the party. It can also be one that denotes third-party situations sometimes. So some of you may be kind of not wanting to deal with that there's maybe another person involved or another emotional distraction that is not allowing kind of the arrows of Cupid to really sink in and kind of light the flame between you two. But it can also be where, when we're looking at this very generally, when it's not actually pertaining to love specifically, this could be where we are trying to avoid so much the energy of movement. Like this can be where we fall in love with somebody, we meet the perfect person, and then it's like, whoa, everything's happening too fast, and then we just like push on the brakes and we're like, no, actually it's too fast. And it would almost be like if you fell head over heels in love, and within a month the person's like, let's move in together, and then you're like, okay, and then you move in together, and then a month after that the person's like, oh my gosh, my job just moved to Georgia, like, do you want to move with me? And all of a sudden you're faced with this like choice of like, wait a second, like I have to, like, within 2 months of me meeting the perfect partner, I have to change so much about myself, and do I want to commit on this level? And instead of just saying, hey, you know what, maybe this was all meant to be, and if I really feel for this person and I feel like they're my partner in life, maybe I should just go with all the stuff that's lining up, if it feels right for me, all the things I've been kind of preparing for. But if you were to stop and say, whoa, this is all happening too fast, no, like, let's just break up, that's when you can, again, you're missing an opportunity. You're missing an opportunity to actually find a community, to be able to celebrate and share with others what's the good fortune that's coming for you. Because in the middle of this, we have the heart of your reading is Temperance. And this is really what Spirit's asking you to embrace now. Temperance is a beautiful energy. This is the energy of combining passion with emotion, action with feelings. This is that where we get to the place of, I always like to look at this too as like almost like an angelic pause, a chance for us to really come to that place of temperance, literally, where we are tempering ourselves, we are bringing everything into moderation. We're coming to that place of understanding that we can't just take action without having some feeling attached to that. And we can't just feel things without taking action. We have to do both. Our actions have to be steeped in some type of emotional connection to us. So that allows us to have a broader understanding of why we're choosing to take action. And I think that's really what Spirit's asking you now to do, is to say, it's okay if things are moving fast and may feel a little out of control, especially with this lack of clarity around you. But what's going to help bring that clarity for you with this feeling of like, okay, I'm ready to go, is what do you feel? When you think about taking action, does it feel right for you? Does it actually allow you to capitalize on fulfilling some emotional need of yours? it also kind of brings you into that place too of understanding that we have to take action sometimes. We can't just sit and say, okay, well, I feel ready. And then when the opportunity comes, we're like, not going to take action. It's like, if you feel ready, then trust that and take action. Because right after this, then we have the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is a card that really speaks to the rules and kind of regulations and the structures that we hold ourselves accountable to. This is a card that really speaks to both external structures, things like governmental stipulations put in place. This can be, community guidelines. This could be religious rules and structures. This can also be something internal to us. It's the things we hold ourselves accountable to. So these are the internal things of like, well, I have to do this to be seen like this. I have to always be polite to everybody because that's what I hold myself to. And what this is saying here is that you're getting ready to kind of, this is what I'm getting at. You're getting ready to break through the barrier. The Hierophant and the World, these two cards together might as well be the starting gates to a horse race or to any type of thing where the animal's kind of getting jumpy and antsy, waiting for the gates to open and them to be let out. So there's this feeling here of everything's kind of leading up to this push, because the Hierophant is a very structured, very again, this is the card of our structures. And the World is a card of the ending of a cycle. It is fixed energy. It is a moment to pause and to look at everything that you've learned in this cycle up to this point. But it's asking you to keep going forward, to go again. The world turns over just like the Wheel of Fortune does. So this is a reminder that this is not a time to stop. This is actually a time to quickly recollect all that you've gone through, reflect on it, and get ready to move again. And then you have the Star, which is so beautiful. The Star is reminding you that we each have that place that feels like home for us, that ultimate dream, wish, hope, or desire for ourselves. That's always there, always with us. And that is always what we point our chariot towards, even in the most unclear of circumstances. Because that star ultimately resides within ourselves. That is our internal compass. So there is really this feeling of getting yourself to this place of temperance within yourself, of balancing your emotions with your actions, and really becoming aware of how your actions make you feel and where your feelings come from how you act. Bringing those into alignment to allow yourself to basically be ready that when these gates open up, you're ready to burst through them. And if that gate, that Hierophant, that structure doesn't open, you don't have to wait for it. Even though I do feel like the energy is moving around you with Eight of Wands, it's almost like it's time for you to go no matter what. This would almost be like for you to face this now. It would be like if the gates opened, but you told yourself, well, every time a gate opens, I have to count to 5 before I walk through that gate, because you never know if they're going to close again or what's going to happen. Meanwhile, everybody else is 5 seconds ahead of you. And it's one of those things where this is time to get rid of all of that old patterning of beliefs that you've held yourself internally accountable to, all of the I have to's, I shoulds, I do this because. And same with the external environment. Sometimes we have to break the rules. With each society, each group of people, even each household, we all live by varying different sets of rules. And rules change as cultures change and humanity grows. The way we view our structures change. And that's something to keep in mind, that it's not about being held back by, well, I made a commitment. I'm married and I said I would be with this person forever. It's like, if in reality, continuing to take action in that place, if that doesn't feel like, if that's not making you feel settled and rested and confident that you are moving forward towards your final destination, then it's one of those things where then you have to take a look at that. Like, are you holding yourself accountable to something that actually doesn't resonate with you? This is a really critical pivot point for you Capricorns. There is a lot going on. There's a lot of energy here for you. And you're being asked right now to almost kind of like in the crazy chaos of like all these things coming at you, to remain fixed in place by keeping your eye on your own star. And, you know, it's almost like he's kind of looking at that too. It's like keeping your eye on your star, and you make the rules for yourself as to what fits you getting there. So this whole thing is a lesson in really learning to get your head and your heart in alignment, and then just going. That when the opportunities present itself, it's time to go. Okay, so Capricorn, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull 3 cards now. One for curiosity, one for courage, and one for contemplation. And this is going to help us bring what is a very general reading into a more individualized experience for you. So these are points of awareness that you'll keep in mind to allow Spirit to come in and be able to illuminate something about this reading that is specific for you. Now for curiosity, this is pulling a card to see where Spirit would like you to be curious and open to. So this is some area of your life that there's something here that you need to become aware of. And it's almost like you have to kind of wipe the slate clean and just allow Spirit to illuminate something for you, kind of almost out of the blue this month. We'll build in a question around this card. Ooh. You know, Capricorn, I feel like your guys' energy has been kind of difficult, you know, over the past few months. And I think sometimes when things are hard like that, we feel like when the energy starts moving, it's almost like scary. It's like, I've gone through so much, I can't just go. And it's like, yeah, actually, that's the cycles of life. Sometimes things get really hard, and then we're asked to push forward. And this is one of those times. So the 5th chakra is Archangel Gabriel, number 39, breaking down to a 12. I love this because this is the throat chakra. And interestingly enough, when I was starting your reading, I actually had to restart it a couple times because it kept kind of like choking. Like I had to drink some water before I came back and was actually able to start the reading for you guys. So there is something around your throat chakra. There's something that you need to say that I think is going to allow you to make use of this energy that's coming your way, the energy within yourself that's really getting kind of clear and getting ready to go. But I have a feeling that there's a fear around that, because you know that if you express something, if you express it verbally out loud, either to someone or even just to express it out loud for you to hear it out loud, that it's going to, it's going to kind of force you into the energy coming. And so the question to ask yourself for the month of April is, what is it that that you want to say and that you're stopping yourself from saying? And why are you stopping yourself from saying it? Is it out of fear that the other person isn't going to join you on your new quest ahead? Is it the fear of how you're going to be seen? Is it a fear that you're going to go against a rule, or you're going to be stating something that might go against popular awareness or acceptance? But there's something around this here, around needing to say something and being too afraid to do so. So where are you holding yourself back from expressing something? And just kind of allow yourself to sit with that. And I think Spirit will show you, kind of lead you to where that is and lead you to the right point of expressing that. Okay, so now we're going to pull a card here for the concept of courage, which is where Spirit would like you to have the courage to take action. And I love this. It says, surrender to receiving support and love. Allow the love and support of others in rather than trying to handle everything yourself. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. I love this card, and it has been coming out for quite a few people over the past 2 months. And I think there's a lot of people, again, because we're all dealing with a great time of change. And sometimes we think we have to go through the change alone, or that we're the ones that have to bear the brunt of making something happen. And a lot of times it's just as simple as communicating something that can actually show you who's coming on the ride with you and who's there to support you. You know, we have that Three of Cups here. That is the support of your community. That is the support of friends and family. And when you're taking action, it's realizing that sometimes it's okay to admit that you can't do it all. You know, Capricorn, you are a sign that actually harnesses more paternal energy, the energy of the father. You actually are the father archetype, where your opposite sign, which is Cancer, is the maternal archetype. And sometimes you can get into that kind of father archetype of I have to do, instead of like the maternal archetype is nurturing and receiving. And so this is really kind of allowing yourself to almost like utilize the energy of your opposite sign to come to a place of asking for help. That maybe you do want to make use of an opportunity, or you do want to, even though it feels a little fast, you do want to dive into a relationship, or you do want to leave one job and go to another, or make this big change of life that's coming through for you. But there are aspects of that you can't do alone, and you need to be able to verbalize that. You need to be able to, in a mature way, verbalize, again, from this very temperate place of what you need and the actions that you want to take, but then to allow others to help with that. You know, when you think about, yes, you have to be the one driving your chariot, but there could be other people here, either in chariots next to you, who are going to go on this journey with you, or there could be people who actually had to help you hook the horses up to the cart and put your luggage on the cart and get all the things there that actually will allow you to just get into the driver's seat and go. So again, when change comes knocking and energy is going quickly, if you're being told that you have to get on the train in 5 minutes or else there's not another train coming for 5 years, then it's time to give your friend a call and say, hey buddy, can you help swing by in the next 2 minutes and drive me around the corner to the train station? Because I can't walk fast enough and I have 3 bags to carry. It's one of those things where it's almost like seeing where you can get the most help and not being afraid to ask for it. Because I don't want you guys to miss that train. It's coming for you, and you're being told to be aware of this energy for a reason. Because this can be a start of a big new adventure, and an adventure that directly ties to your star. It ties to you moving towards what's going to feel like home for you. What's going to help bring in a realization of a deep hope, wish, or dream for yourself. And no matter how unclear the way is, we always have to keep our eyes on our own compass to guide us forward. Okay, so let's go ahead here and pull a final card for the concept of contemplation. And this is where Spirit would like you to reflect on for the month. So it says, align your life. What is not aligned or needs to change? I love when this card comes out because this really speaks to when we ourselves are basically fractured, just like this card is showing, that we are not in alignment, that there's an aspect of part of our life that is out of alignment. So when you're thinking again, kind of like the analogy of getting this whole chariot ready to go. Well, it's not going to go so far if the wheels are out of alignment or one horse is further back than the other horse. It's one of these things where we have to really get into that place of when you're thinking about, let's say, the horses being out of alignment in your chariot, one representing your heart and the other your head. There's this feeling of what needs to really change within your thoughts and how they tie directly to your emotions and vice versa. And then to really take a look at your life. If you knew that tomorrow you were going to get a call that was going to ask you to make a quick decision that could literally change quite a bit about your life, and you knew it was going to move you closer to a big hope, dream, or wish, what would you change? What would you get prepared to leave behind? What would you get prepared to kind of finalize and make peace with before you literally packed up your bags and ran to the train station? And that's something that's really going to give you that idea of, I think also, there's a feeling always with the chariot that comes through for me of freedom. That you're free to go now. There's nothing holding you back anymore. And this is really giving you that chance, I think, to take a look in general at what you're held back by. Are there any chains holding this chariot back to something that when you lash those reins, that you're held back by an old belief? You're held back by a loyalty to somebody that it doesn't need to be, you don't need to be held loyal to anymore. Is there a responsibility that you no longer have to be responsible for? These are the things that keep us from being in alignment with the energy and the flow of our lives. So as a point of reflection, stay aware of that. What in your life, if you were to just lash the horses and move towards an ultimate dream of yours, what's holding you back currently? And that's going to really highlight for you what needs to be released or dealt with or spoken out loud about for you to be able to really capitalize on what's coming through for you in April. All right, Capricorn, I hope that this has been a illuminating reading. If you would like to illuminate your own personal spiritual importance and to see how it can be of service to yourself and others, the link to my website is in the description box below. For the entire month of April, my 1 hour I Am Illuminated reading will be on sale. And if you'd like to learn more about what that reading really highlights, you can click on the link to another video I created that speaks to why it's important to understand your spiritual importance, as well as what that reading dives into and illuminates for you. All right, all my Capricorns, if I don't see you there, I look forward to seeing you again in May for your next illumination reading. Bye, and lots of luck on your fun journey forward.